So if you watched my last video, you know my tripod broke right at the end of my thing, at the end of my video. I just have this thing kind of teetering. So I would not be surprised if this thing fell off during this review. But anyway, so moving on, now we're going to tackle the Villainess, because that's what's next on the pile, in case you're watching these in order, which probably aren't, and you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways, so the Villainous, which was sent to me by yet another person that I don't know. I don't know who sent me these. I wish I could go back and rewatch them so the person can get their credit. And I feel like an asshole, but it is what it is. So please tell me below. Oh shit! On who sent this to me, because I take really good care of my movies, as you can tell. Dang it. This is what happens when I try to like pretend I have skills. I don't. Yeah, The Villainous. This is a South Korean film, which pretty much immediately makes it awesome. I have only seen one Korean film, I think, that I did not like. And this was sure as shit not one of them. Holy hell, was this fantastic. I loved this. Now, this says that it is hyperkinetic, equal parts Kill Bill, La Femme Nikita, and John Wick. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty apt. That's a pretty apt description, I honestly have to say there. I mean, it's pretty cool. I would also throw in, though, I think one thing that they should throw in here for sure is Hardcore Henry. Now, I'm a huge fan of the first-person style of filmmaking. Like, as I said, Hardcore Henry, Hotel Inferno. There's been the segment in Doom with Carl Urban and The Rock. And I've seen other ones as well. But every time that style has ever been used, I'm into it. Maniac, of course, with Elijah Wood. So this has action sequences. So this opens up in an action sequence. And when I say opens up in an action sequence, I fucking mean it, man. I mean, the second you press play, people are getting slaughtered. And it is in first person. And it's for like probably 10 straight minutes. And she must fight 150 people in hallway sequences and everything, and it's all done from first person. She's got a knife and guns, and she's just blowing people's heads off and stabbing them, and it's fucking glorious. I mean, if nothing else in the movie is interesting to you, if nothing else is cool to you, that scene alone is worth the whole shebang. It is currently streaming on Hulu, or so Wyatt Terwilliger says. I think I do remember seeing it on there, but thanks to one of my subscribers, I got a Blu-ray copy forever, and I could not be happier about it. Now, I have a few friends that were on Facebook when I posted that I was watching this that said that, yeah, the action sequences are amazing. And I don't think very many people are going to dispute that. They might not like the style because it does have a very frantic, hyper kind of feel to it, and the framing of the first person and all that might not be your cup of tea. Some people don't like that. I know a buddy of mine thinks Hardcore Henry is like the worst movie ever made, and I think it's legit one of the best action movies ever. I think it is one of the most underappreciated films ever. Like, the fact that isn't top tier, fucking praised, out of control, one of the coolest movies. It should be talked about, in my opinion, it should be talked about like a fucking Mad Max Fury Road or like a John Wick or something. I just think it's that level. I think it's so incredible. Like, every second of the movie, I was just stunned by its action and its style, and it's a wild flick, and I just can't believe more people don't love it as much as I, but, you know, that's what it is. Now, this film definitely slows down. The action is not throughout by any means. This movie very much goes into a a girl who is taken in and trained as an assassin, kind of like, as it says, like a La Femme Nikita or something. We've seen that a million times for sure. I mean, even fucking the Marvel Cinematic Universe has Black Widow. I mean, we've seen this character for sure. And then it moves into a love story, which when that opening started, I just thought I was going to watch some knockdown, drag out, fucking brutal mayhem kind of film. And I was 100% on board to watch that because I love that kind of shit. Give me The Night Comes for Us all day, all night. I'll watch that stuff till the fucking cows come home. But it went into a romance. It went into this kind of, almost... I don't want to give too much away because I'm not going into spoilers here. But it goes into a romance. And man, I was really into it. I was really invested in that romance. And I just did not expect to go from like 10 action to like all the way down to like a slower drama romance. And for me to be totally engaged by both. I just am shocked. When I was watching, I was like, oh, so this is going to be kind of a romance thing. And I was like, all right, we're going to get more into the action. And the action wasn't really coming, but I didn't ever care because I was so invested in what was going on and the romance that was being set up that I was like, oh, this is adorable. And oh my God, I actually really like these guys together. And oh my God, I can't. And as it went on, I was like, fuck, I'm more and more invested. And then when the action sequences came, there was such weight to them because I was so involved with the characters. I wanted to know they were going to make it, that they were going to be all right. And the way it all plays out and the ending action sequence and the kind of the gravity behind that and what it all came and transpired before it and what it all came to, fucking fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, I really honestly don't have a single negative I could come up with in the film. Honestly, I just loved every second of the movie. It's fucking phenomenal. It's one of my favorite action movies I've seen in years. So, and romances and everything. Korean filmmakers are really just unbelievably fantastic. And here's yet another example of that. So if you get a chance, if you're into these kinds of movies, if you're into the South Korean movies, if you're into action flicks, if you're into gore and mayhem, if you're into, some romance thrown in, this is great shit. This is great shit. I can't say good enough about it. So, yeah, get on it. The action sequences do live up. Definitely John Wick 3 was inspired by this. The motorcycle scene, I'm sure people have talked about that. I'm sure maybe you've heard that John Wick drew inspiration from this. It's different, though. I mean, it's shot differently, for sure. And this one just has a lower budget, so John Wick 3's motorcycles chase scene is a little more fluid and higher production, I suppose, but this is still insanely impressive. I mean, I wouldn't argue with anyone who said they prefer this motorcycle scene. Like, I think it's on par with it. I can just tell budget-wise that John Wick just had a bigger budget when it came to that scene. But regardless, it's fucking awesome. The action actually kind of reminds me, people might lose me here, even people who have seen it will be like, what are you talking about? And it's not as over the top by any means as this, but because of kind of how they incorporate the action sequences with what would obviously be something like a green screen or composite work or whatever it is, it kind of slightly reminded me of something like a Kung Fury at times. I don't know. Am I crazy on that? It just had that kind of feel to it. And that's a great thing. I love that fucking movie. But anyways, check it out. If you're into that kind of thing, let me know. Adios.